Okay, so I got the gable end on this north side to where I like it. You can see it's kind of set back into the loft up a foot or so. Once I get the 2x6 joist running across, it's gonna be nice, little 2x2 window. And I just wanted to make sure it was well supported because I actually cut into what's going to be my top plate of the loft up there. This thing seems pretty dang solid. And I left a little ridge support on top that I built and just put on top of those headers. It seems pretty nice. I might throw in a couple more of these supports that you can see running down. My plan is to set a 2x6 on them, you know, this way, the strong way, so I don't think I need that many. It's definitely very well supported, and I tied this guy in below, and the ridge that's just about 2 feet from this one, the next joist is going to be on this cap, so it'll be super solid out on that side. Everything else is just going to be hugged from the walls, so I'll probably block that off, you know. Anyway, pretty happy with that end, and trying to solve how I'm going to put up the gable window on this end. So I did a little math, and I need to get the height of the ridge beam to be 13 feet and an inch, and the height of the window, if I want them to be the same height on this top plate, is about 6 inches up. It's exactly 6 inches and 2/8 or something like that, but I'm gonna call it about 6 inches. And so this is kind of what I drew up, where I just put my top plates on. I'm out of 16 footers, so there's a little seam right there. So I'm gonna mend that across with the window. And what I'm gonna do is just put two 2x6 headers and a little sill plate on top of that. I'll run up a cripple to the top sill on both sides, and then king studs that are gonna go up to my header, and I'll build that same ridge support contraption on top and just check my math a couple times. And even if I think that 2x2 foot window, I think this sill plate is as far as it's off. So it'd be 1.5 inches higher on this side, which is the vaulted side, versus that side. So whatever, man. We're gonna get to it. It's a little wet. See, I got the tarp down. I'm kind of working on top of it. It's been raining on and off again today. When I came in, this thing was like a lake right here, but the watershed off of here was actually wonderful. So I think I'm gonna have to work it out like that, where I kind of tarp it all up on one side and drain it off. Otherwise it just becomes a little lake, and there's tons of little holes in this tarp now. It's been trashed actually, so something like that will work really well. And once I get the ridge beam on, that'll probably be where I leave for a while. So I've been able to come out here for a couple weeks to work on this one. Get it this far, just been freaking awesome. Once I get the ridge beam on, I'll probably just throw some supports or whatever I can to it and attach the tarp to that, and hope that holds out for another month or whatever until I'm able to get back out here. It's been super fun. We've seen a whole lot of wildlife. The dog and I saw a moose 3 different times yesterday, walking back and forth between the car, which is around here somewhere. Sleep. Oh, there you are. Wanna play fetch? You got one more in here. She's loving this, the old handle for the first framing hammer I got out here. It's perfect hardwood. She loves it. Ready? Let's go. Let's go. Anyway, she's been sniffing out. Her perimeter's getting wider and wider and wider. She's a super good dog that stays close. And I've called her in from probably 100 yards out now, so she's getting comfortable. Nice. Let's get to it. Next time I turn this thing on, hopefully we'll have a little gable end, and maybe we'll get a video of trying to stick that ridge beam on there, which is going to be insane. Alright, let's do it. Yeah, good thing I looked. Turns out it's more like a 10 inches off of this double top plate. It'll be the same height as the other gable end, so I just made this little box. gonna sit happily like this. Nice. And this will be the bottom sill. Lines up with that guy. Other than that, I'm gonna build it just the same as this, just that little footer idea out the window. And I'll check my math to make sure off of the ridge beam I have a little steeper pitch in my roof here, make sure it clears this edge, and if I can put the 2x6 headers on there, I will. Tell you what, this old handsaw I had lying around sure come in clutch. Getting pretty good at cutting up these lines too. I don't know how many 100 of them done now, but man, it's adding up. Just gonna take you up top and put this window together. We have it. Little box supporting the bottom sill, little top sill cripples, and then I'll run up a king stud, all laminated, up to here, support that big guy, and then we'll put our ridge beam support on top of that. Moderately solid, and turned out perfectly square. So there's our gable window on this side, matching this one that's up in the loft. It's the same size as these 1, 2, and 3 behind the tarp as well. You may have noticed that these windows are not centered with that top gable window, which would be very frustrating to some. But I actually checked with my project manager, my wife, and she didn't like these size windows for what we were going to get. So what we were going to switch to was 3 feet tall, 36, which is framed, and instead of doing 32 rough opening, we were actually going to do 2 feet. So I was going to shorten the frame of these windows to 2 feet wide, 3 feet tall, which puts us right at the edge of this window. This guy, do the same thing, frame it into 2 feet actually, which puts us here. This boards at the edge. Maybe I need to move it 1.5 inches one way or the other, but that'll be the solve for that, which is good because I had those windows asymmetric and didn't really think about what the gable window would look like. So it's a nice little fix, huh? Sweet. Keep moving. I love when that works out. You get a length of board with just the tiniest little bit. So far, there really hasn't been that much scrap. It's pretty much laying here, sprinkled around, and this is the main scrap pile so far, which a lot of that we have to use for blocking things. It's been going great with this little handsaw. As you can tell, we're caught in the rain a little bit. Stay up there, don't worry. But a couple dry spots. I got my coat on, so all good, huh, CP? Doesn't look happy, but it's coming along. Okay, we're waiting it out a little bit. It just started pouring down. Good time for a brewski. Huh, Doug? actually fairly dry under here. I have to remember this tarp setup. It's just like pouring all of a sudden and then lightening up and pouring. It looks a little lighter out over here, so hopefully it lets up in 10 minutes or something. Just gonna enjoy a beer and grab some lunch for the dog and I. Okay, it looks like the rain let off just a little bit. That was a lot longer than I thought, man. That was like a half hour of solid rain. But I was trying to hide out under the tarp. Crafted my little ridge beam cap thing, supporter there. Let's throw it up there and see if it's at all the same height across the way. If it is, I'm gonna secure that puppy on and catch a video trying to throw that ridge beam up and setting a level on it. That'll be the ultimate. All right, let's do it. I mean, it was raining. I knocked it all off at about halfway through. Just kind of picking it up and funneling it out here. This is about 5 or 10 minutes worth of rain, and it piles up. Stayed relatively dry under here. I think there's a little bit of a low side in this far corner where I was trying to hide out and work, and a little bit of water collected there, or I was just tracking it in and out. But all right, we got a little dry spell here for a minute. Let's get back to it. Yeah, there it is. It's kind of uneven from leaning on there. Wasn't too smart. I popped it back to 2 feet of an overhang, 2 feet of overhang on this side. It's 20-foot ridge beam, 2x8. Got that puppy up there, man. Felt high. So putting on rafters is gonna be a thing, isn't it? Oh, there you go. That really gives it a feel for how big this thing is going to be. Actually, it seems kind of manageable. I was starting to feel like it was just so high. Wouldn't even be able to get to the roof, but that one ladder dang near reaches all the way to the apex of it. How we're looking from over here. Oh yeah, that's gonna be cool. Look at that. Elk poop. 15 feet from the cabin. And this actually got a little marshy, man. It's been raining like crazy. There's like this creek that goes in all the way to the river. Right next to the cabin. That's probably only, I don't know, 4 vertical feet. Yeah, it's a sweet visual right there. Looks like the rafters, everything gonna fit fine. Awesome.